All right, guys and gals, break time is over. Back to work. Back to work we go. Man, oh man, what a volatile afternoon, right? NVIDIA earnings coming out. Markets go crazy back and forth. I'll tell you, at first glance, these charts look pretty darn messy for tomorrow. But I'll tell you, once you see these charts tonight, once I got my hands dirty on these charts tonight, the game plan came together pretty easily. I'm pretty excited for trading on Thursday morning. The key for tomorrow, and we'll talk about this tonight, the key for tomorrow is that NVIDIA news spike. That'll be a big part of the game plan to make some money on what should be a very busy day tomorrow in our trade room. Now, I'm going to cover all my favorite trades, of course, in the video tonight. That you guys have a roadmap, a game plan to make some money as well. Before we jump in and talk my favorite trades for tomorrow, though, make sure you subscribe to our channel. I don't want you to miss tomorrow night's video, so make sure you subscribe. And if you enjoy these videos, if you like these lessons, hit that like button for me. Give me a shout out. Give me a hell yeah down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for tuning in, supporting our channel. It was a wild day today, though. That's all right, though. Game plan looks great for tomorrow. Charts are all prepped up in front of us. NASDAQ triple Qs are ready. The S&P and the SPY is ready. I have 4 important clues right now that are telling us the best roadmap to make money tomorrow morning. One of those clues, maybe 2 of those clues, are right here on these 60-minute charts. We can definitely tell we're bullish overall right now, right? Bullish on the S&P and SPY, bullish overall right now on the NASDAQ. But I'll tell you, one really interesting clue here, for example, on the S&P right now, that strong run up on the S&P, the pullback, and they got that rejection off that high this morning. Now, usually, whenever we see a rejection like that, usually markets will go back and take out that high. They definitely tried, but didn't get below that 0.5 and 3/4 area. I would keep your eyes on that number for tomorrow. We'll talk more about that, of course, as we go deeper into the video tonight. We'll talk about entry tactics around that level as we go deeper. And then over on the NASDAQ is a bullish wedge right now. Now, if you're a student of mine, you know that wedges are notorious for what we call trap entries, right? Getting below prior swings. We have yet to get below any of these prior swings right now. That 78 level, that 35 level. Again, we're gonna talk a lot more about this in a moment, but love to get some trades off those levels because we haven't been underneath any of them in quite some time. So levels are good, direction is good, but you know what these 60-minute charts don't tell us? They don't tell us entry tactics, right? They don't help us time the entry on this. We have 3 more important clues on the tick charts, the faster time frames, helping us time the best entries for tomorrow. Before we do that, though, let's look at our schedule for tomorrow because tomorrow is Reaction Thursday, the Thursday after a big news event. I have 2 things on my mind for tomorrow. One is the PMI number at 9:45. No, it's not the jobless claims. It's definitely not the home sales. It's that PMI composite flash number. That is the big headline news for tomorrow, so keep that on your radar. And we're going into a holiday weekend this weekend. There'll be no video newsletter tomorrow night. We'll come back after the holiday, though. Don't you worry, I'm not going too far. We'll come back and kick some more ass next week here on Tuesday evening. So that PMI number, 9:45 tomorrow morning. And again, I'll miss you guys tomorrow, but don't you worry, I'll be in the trade room tomorrow morning, as always, with our students here at SOT. Back to our charts, though, because it's good to know when the news is, but the money is made on the charts. We talked about some key levels here on the 60-minute time frame, but let's talk about entry tactics now because levels are good, direction's good, but let's now drill down to our tick charts right now. Tick charts are kind of where the magic happens every day in our trade room. I think tick charts make pattern recognition a lot easier. This is a 7,000 tick chart, by the way, upper left-hand corner. And if you're watching for the first time right now, that yellow line right there, tough to see, that is the 21 EMA, in case you're tuning in here for the first time. I see 3 important clues on these tick charts that are kind of tipping us off now to the best entries and exits for tomorrow. One of them is this trading range. Now, I know a lot of you guys and gals are taking our free video class on the website. You know that ranges are magnets and they like to rotate, right? They rotate up, down, up, down. The key to ranges is buy low, sell high, trade that rotation, right? Buy those lows, sell that high, trade that rotation. We'll talk about that more as we go. But that's one very important clue here on the tick charts. But I'll tell you, one of the most important clues is the strength of that move down. And we had the FOMC meeting minutes this afternoon, and they made that strong run down. Now, anytime we see a strong run lower or higher, anytime we see a strong move in one direction, we expect a pullback and a retest of that level. Now, look where that area is. I recognize that number, 05 3/4. That's that level we talked about on the 60-minute time frame. I'll tell you right now, that's a very important clue. I would expect these sellers to try, we're overall bullish, try to take out that low. And if we're lucky, we might get some longs there off that 05 3/4. I have 3 different kind of buy setups, long setups I'm watching off that area. We'll cover that here in a moment. And then one of the most important things, I know they're all kind of important right now, but one of the most important things is this news spike. So one really cool thing about news events is they leave these big spikes, right? These big spikes can be used as measuring spikes. So tomorrow and really the rest of the week here, no matter what type of entry we get tomorrow and Friday, I'm looking for ways to use the size of that move for a target, all right? And we'll talk about that as we go deeper. The most important thing right now is the range, right? The range is the most important thing. There are 3 ways to trade a range like this. One is some bear traps underneath that low. We'll talk about that for sure in a moment. 2 is going to be a breakout pullback. There's your range right here. Breakout pullback. We'll talk about that a bit later on in the video. And of course, the third one is a fake out breakout. We go up, complete that rotation, and back down. Now, these can be tricky, right? These can be tricky. We saw how stubborn those buyers were today. We'll finish the video up tonight, though, with some bull traps off the high, some fake out breakouts. This is going to be a masterclass for you guys on range, rotation, and using news spikes. So my favorite trade for tomorrow, you probably can tell already, my favorite trade for tomorrow is I'd love to go back and take out that low. Take out that 05 3/4 off the 60-minute time frame. Retest that low. Now remember, we don't pick tops and bottoms. I don't know how far this will go. I know the general area, but I don't have a crystal ball for this. So what I look for is, rather than try to buy blindly into that low right now, I'm going to look for what's called a failure into trap combination. First of all, a failure pattern. You guys know this one already, most likely, right? So bears try once, bears try twice. This is a horrible spot to be selling, right? You never want to sell into support, range magnet above you, overall bull market. I'll tell you right now, when I was a rookie trader almost 20 years ago, I would have sold the heck out of that, right? Chase it going lower and get trapped in. So I know a lot of rookies don't watch my videos, and we're going to run those stops with a failure pattern, right? Trap those rookie bears in. We assume they're rookies. Trap the bears in under that low and use that failure pattern. Now, as the market runs higher, where is it trying to go? It's trying to rotate back to the other side of that trading range. Watch this very closely. As it does that, I'm always looking for a higher high in price and a bear trap. Trap patterns need to be something you learn as soon as possible. It's one of the most reliable, most consistent trades I know of as a trader. If we're lucky, by the way, watch closely. Trend line off the high, off that low. That is a gorgeous, almost a guaranteed winning trade. In our free video classes, we talk about this as a failure pattern into a trap combination. And again, remember, size of that news spike, size of that news, right? You know what I'm saying? Use that as some targets. Okay, now, this is kind of the ideal scenario. There are variations of this. For example, a lot of times, we get that strong run down. We're going to get that failure. It'll pop right back up. But because that move is so strong, they hold one of these prior levels of resistance. We take our profit up here, right? And they run back down lower. Remember, double bottoms in an overall bull market are one of the most lucrative trades you can find, because now anybody who sells up here, they're taking their profit down here. So sellers turn into buyers at that low. Also, we know already, hopefully you know by now, this is the worst place you want to sell short. Hopefully some rookies will come in, try once, sell short, try twice, sell short, and then we can look for, we call these double bottom reversals. in our trade room, that double bottom, again, it's a retest of the low, not a reversal, failure, and again, into that, you got it, into that bear trap combination as we go lower. These ones love to run. These double bottoms are oftentimes the most lucrative ones we get in our trade room. So keep an eye on that. Now, let's slow down for a second because I have a lot more I want to cover here tonight. But I know for most of you guys, you know these patterns, you know failures, you know traps, you know why we love ranges so much. But if you're watching right now for the first time right now, this might be a brand new language for you. What the heck is this guy talking about right now? But don't you worry, I teach all these patterns. I have hundreds of examples of failures and traps. I teach the entire thing in a lot more detail in our free video classes. I'll put a link up top here for you. Don't you worry. Upper right-hand corner, grab that link that popped up there and take that free trading course because the strategy you're going to learn in that short video series will teach you a stupidly simple trick we use in our members trade room to know exactly where the best winners are going to be each day. Then I want to help you start making money on your own. I'm going to teach you 4 my favorite entry patterns. You'll learn traps and failures and a whole lot more. Guys, the markets are way too good right now not to be making consistent money. If you're missing the best trades each day, if you're struggling to qualify for a funded account at Apex or Top Step, hit that link up top there. Perfect for someone who needs an easy roadmap to follow each day. You'll always know where the best winners are going to be each day when you take that free video course. Also, too, I'm going to put all the important links tonight, the description of the YouTube video. All the free class links will be down there. We trade together every morning in our trade room. I'll put our trade membership links down there as well. Also, too, I post a lot of updates on Twitter or X, charts, mindset stuff, videos each day. If you're on Twitter or X, give me a follow. Again, all the details, the description of the YouTube video. But most importantly, take that free video course. Perfect for someone who wants to make a jump into full-time trading. So we talked about that move down and that failure into that trap combination. And again, don't be surprised if it goes lower, pops up, and does it again. Now, sometimes, not my favorite, but sometimes we make that run lower. Sometimes there's so many buyers down here, we don't get the shot for the 2 tries and back up. Sometimes it just whoop right back up and goes right back into the range. These can be very, very challenging on our emotions. Here's what usually happens in a V-bottom scenario. Oftentimes, when it pops up like that, it begins to grind going higher. Again, I would love to buy down here, but I can't blindly buy that, right? It's not going to be a sustainable way to trade these markets. I'm going to draw a trend line off that high, bring it down to that low, and what do we always say in our video classes? Look left, find one of these prior swings, and what you want is you want that first test. You want the first test off the high of that channel. So if it V bottoms off of that low and begins to grind higher, write this down. Anytime we grind up like that, draw a trend line off that high or grab a screenshot of a chart right now, off the highs, pin it down off that low, and you want a bear trap pattern, a failure pattern, a pullback combo, a strength trade for sure as it rotates going higher. And again, think about now the size of that news spike, the size of that news spike. See how now we use that news spike size to know where that final objective is going to be. So again, a V bottom off that low is not my favorite trade, but hey, sometimes we only get what the market will give us. Now, one last thing, and then we'll talk about going higher because there's money to make going higher, but again, that can be tricky going higher here. So don't you go clicking off here just yet. One last thing here. I would love to go down and take out that low and back up again, right? That's the goal. However, this trend line's coming in. Off that low, right off that low, off that low. Okay, we may not get there. We're an overall bull market. NVIDIA just crushed their earnings. And so we may not get, right? We may not get all the way back down to that low. We may keep on grinding higher. Couple things you want to think about. If we run lower and we start seeing these bears come in and try once to go lower, try twice to go lower. See, now think about this. Bears are selling short in an overall bull market, range above us. NVIDIA just knocking their earnings out the park, right? Okay, now, What's the challenge here, though? What's the problem? There's always a problem. The problem is we're now buying ahead of that retest. The problem is we're buying relatively high compared to where that low is. So if I want to buy relatively high, what's the one pattern that guarantees we buy as low as possible? It's always going to be, in this case, a bear trap, right? The problem is if I buy right here, I'm buying ahead of that retest. Respect those bears. They're going to want to retest that low. And again, there's always a problem. There's no free lunch in trading. If you think there's no problem, you're missing the problem. There's always a problem, okay? The problem right there is that we haven't retested that low. Expect those bears to try. I want to look for that bear trap pattern off of that low to trade that snap, that bear trap going higher. Now, it may be like this, right? We may roll lower. It may V bottom and pop back up like that. You know the game plan, right? Off the high, off the low, find that trap. Same kind of V bottom idea there, right? So think about if we get halfway down, if we don't complete that move back down, okay, my goal tomorrow will be buy as low as I possibly can because I can't buy down here and look for that. Again, it will always be bear trap patterns, always trap patterns to buy as low as possible. So now we know kind of my dream scenario for tomorrow, and we also know some variations of this in case the markets do whatever the heck the markets want to do tomorrow, which they always do anyways. Now let's talk about that breakout pullback and that fake out breakout. Let's go now over to, the Nas. The NASDAQ's feeling lonely over here. How you doing here, NASDAQ? Boy, NASDAQ very bullish right now. We talked about earlier how that wedge, one of the most consistent things about wedges is they get below these prior swings. So 78, 35, we've talked about this before. Over our charts right now, a little bit different look at the chart in the NASDAQ, but similar idea here. First things first is we can easily see there is a new trading range. Now, again, we know that a bull market into a trading range is going to try to rotate right off of that low and take out what? And ultimately take out the size of the move below and the move above. You will quickly learn to love these pendulum swings, right? Pendulum off the low, off the high. No surprise that they had a hard time going higher there. So we know right now the market wants to rotate off of that low. One very interesting part about this chart, though, is this spike in channel. Now, what do we know about spike in channels? Spike in channels are a very interesting chart pattern because one thing about spike in channels, they love to pull back into the base of that channel, right? What do I mean by that? The base of that channel is right in there, right there. It's right where the spike runs into that channel and the first pullback, right? In the trade room, we call this the base of the channel, right? So one thing about spiking channels, they love to pull back just below the base of that channel, give buyers a chance to buy that dip. I thought that is a very cool, kind of interesting part about that. And sure enough, there's that 78 level, right? There's that 78 level we talked about earlier on the 60-minute time frame. And just like on the S&P, we also have some unfinished business here right now for the bears. Strong run down. They tried to retest it. They tried to retest a couple times there. That 84 level, 84 and a quarter. Again, we're pretty bullish right now, but I wouldn't count these bears out. I wouldn't count them out. They're going to try to take out that low. And boy, oh boy, look at this. I laugh because it's all one candle. It's all one. Well, not technically. It's all 1.5 candle right there. That news spike right there. Again, think about that now, right? Think about that now. We go up, pull back. Think about what that news spike could be for some targets the rest of the week. Remember, the easiest way to make more money is don't trade more often. Get better at holding your trades longer, your winners longer. Let your winners run, and news spikes are a really, really easy way to do that. So the same game plan on the NASDAQ or on the S&P applies to the NASDAQ. I would love to go lower, get some of those failures into those trap combinations, as I mentioned a few times already on this video. Don't be surprised if it double bottoms along the way. Don't be surprised if it V bottoms, right? And that first test is the best test. And also, too, do not be surprised if we can't make our way down there and we get some bear traps on the way back higher. Now let's talk about the move going up, right? The move going higher. Because, again, we're overall bullish. There are two more scenarios. When I think about a range like this, I think about a breakout pullback off top of that range. There are two specific types of entry patterns we look for on a breakout pullback. We'll cover that in a moment. And we also know, right, that if we do end up rolling higher, we may end up getting that fake out breakout. Now, when it comes to fake out breakouts, let's talk about the fake out breakout first. The fake out breakout, there are two types of entry patterns you want to learn when it comes to shorting off resistance in an overall bull market, right? So first things first, as we go higher here, we're very bullish overall, right? And again, NVIDIA just crushed their earnings. So you want to be, what I always do is anytime I'm looking for a top in a bull market, I always go half size or quarter size. This is just me. I will let you make your own decision on this, but these are not going to be as reliable trades trying to short off the high. So for me, it's a half size trade. It's a quarter size trade. For some folks who still aren't making consistent money going with the trend overall, it could be a zero size trade, right? So don't be afraid to sit these ones out and so you start making money going with the trend first. Now, two patterns you want to look for. One is called a crown reversal. So if we go back up, take out this high, and we start seeing the market pull back right now, once, buyers try once, twice, right? Lower low in price, a bull trap above that high, right? We call these crown reversal patterns. They're basically bull trap patterns. This is not a great place to be buying, right? You're buying right into that major news high. We're already way, way high up. Now, given, I agree, we're overall bullish, but if you're going to buy, this is not the time to do it, right? Not right there. If you want to buy, wait for the break out and then pull back and buy the dip, right? Let's not get too aggressive buying into those highs here right now. And again, it's a range underneath us. Ranges love to what? Rotate back and forth here. Anyways, one of the two ways I can short basically a fake out breakout off that high is to use a crown reversal. Now, one thing we saw good example of today is how stubborn sometimes these buyers can be in an overall bull market. So one thing we talked about today in the trade room was you've always got to wait for that nice, strong, convincing signal candle closing firmly below that 21 EMA. There's a lot of examples of these inside the free video course. Make sure when you grab the free video classes, log into the website, and there's a bunch of them listed there for you, crown reversals and bull traps there. This is kind of the dream scenario for the bears here. Another one could easily be we go up and V-top. Sometimes we go up, everybody takes their profit up here, and it gets whacked right back down again. If it gets whacked back down again and begins to grind going lower, like I mentioned earlier, anytime we see the market grind down, the grinder is always the giveaway. In fact, I have some students within the trade room that only trade these grinding moves because they're so reliable, right? So if you're having trouble with consistency right now, you might want to just wait for these grinding moves because these are, nothing's guaranteed, obviously, but these are almost guaranteed winners. Drop that low, mark off that high. At this point now, momentum is turned and begins to roll down again. That's why it's a lot more reliable than a crown reversal pattern. As it grinds down now, we draw a trend line down, and again, we look left. The key is well, at least I think the key is to get just above a prior swing right around the top of that channel. That is where the magic happens. Bull trap patterns, buyer failure patterns, pullback combinations, strength moves. Again, this may not make any sense to you right now, but go through my video class, my free video course, and you'll quickly learn all this terminology, and you'll be an expert at stuff in no time at all. Now remember, once again, right, size of that news spike. Keep that in the back of your mind tomorrow for those targets. So that is how you trade a fake out breakout. Now, how do you trade a breakout pullback? A breakout pullback, you want to think about two things. One is if we start ripping overnight, right, which I don't think anybody would be surprised about that because, again, NVIDIA did their thing this afternoon. If we start ripping higher here overnight, what I always look for is two things. One is a bear trap pattern because I don't want to buy high, right? I'm going to buy nice and low. So if we start seeing this thing ripping overnight, a lot of momentum for the buyers right now, the way you buy low is you buy that bear trap, right? That will always be the best way to buy as we're going higher. Now remember, anytime we have a range breakout, write this down, guys and gals, write this down. Anytime we have a range breakout, the size of the breakout leg is used as a measuring leg. It's one of the most consistent consistent things you will ever learn in trading, all right? Anytime we see a range breakout, measure that breakout leg, and that becomes your measuring leg. That's we leave our final target on a range breakout. It may wind up going all the way, right? All the way to the new spike there. So we'll keep that in mind as well. So once we get up into that measured move up top there, then we look for the pullback, okay? Now, pullbacks. You want to think about the top of that trading range, okay? This is one of the most consistent things we've seen during this big bull run the last couple of years. A lot of my students have made quite a bit of money over the past couple of years trading just this pattern, okay? It's a breakout pullback. It's a breakout pullback, okay? So as it pulls back here now, I want you to think about a two-legged pullback. What's a two-legged pullback? Get under the moving average and go a bit more than a measured move, okay? A bit more than a measured move. One leg under the 21 EMA, two leg, okay? I don't know exactly where it'll be, but that's the general idea behind it, right? A bit more than a measured move. So once we get that measured move, that bit more, it should be somewhere down around these areas of support down here. I'm not going to pick that bottom, okay? We're not going to blindly buy it. What we'll do is, we're going to wait for that pullback, 21 EMA. And this is where that failure into that bear trap combination will come back in once again, right? Once you learn this, it's just rinse and repeat over and over again. That's why I repeat this stuff over and over again. Once you learn how it works, you just keep on applying, you keep milking that cow, right? The whole entire time, right? So one try, two try. Why two tries? To trap in those bears, that failure into that bear trap combination. And again, think about how big that news spike is, pin it off that low, and that's going to give us some runners to work with here for tomorrow. So when I think about a breakout pullback, I think about again, buy as low as you can. If we're ripping higher, buy as low as you can with a bear trap. Look for that two-legged pullback. It should be somewhere around a prior level of resistance to be used as support. And then, of course, one try, two try, a failure pattern into that bear trap combination. Make sure you get the right signal candle on that. You'll learn that, of course, inside the free video classes. All right, guys? So now we know how to buy the breakout pullback, how to short those crown reversals, those fake out breakouts, how to buy down around that low. All right, I'm getting excited just kind of talking about this stuff tonight. Now, that's the game plan for me tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time, you better come trade this with me. The easiest way to start making money in these markets is to learn and trade along every morning in our trade room. I'm going to put all the important links tonight. Start first with the free video class, learn the basic strategy, and don't forget, any questions, any trouble getting access to the video classes, don't be afraid to call the office, shoot me an email, use live chat. Right, guys? Hope you learned a bunch tonight. Hope you use this knowledge. Make a killing tomorrow. And hopefully I'll see you sometime soon trading with me in our trade room at 8 o'clock Eastern time. In the meantime, be well. Have a fantastic holiday, a very happy holiday. Be out there. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. We'll see you guys back here Tuesday evening like clockwork as well. In the meantime, be well. Be nice to each other out there. And be here next time, will ya? Adios, amigos. Bye for now.